All right, so I calculated my values. Here's my dot plot or my line plot that I'm going to be working on. I found my mean and my mad as I was doing earlier. Okay, my mean was 8.2, my mad was 1.8. Um, and I'm going to start making my line plot. Remember, your line plot is a line with all the values placed on that line with dots. Okay, so I should see a dot for every value. In this case, I'll have 30 dots. Okay, so what I notice is my values range from my lowest one is like a 5.7. Do I have 5.5? I don't see anything lower than that. My highest value is like an 11.2. And I'm going to take into account all the other values as well. So as I look through these numbers, I have an 11.5, 11.2. I don't see any 12s here. I rarely see any 10s or 12s. Um, and my lowest number is going to be 2. So I got to at least get a 2 on there. Um, Someone only slept 2 hours in one night. They could have been sick or something. Let's see. That looks like it's it. So I'm going to start at 2. Well, I have 9. Let's see how many spaces I have here. Um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So I want to make this as clear as possible. So I'm going to use up all the space. I have 20 spaces. I don't need to put 0 in there, and I don't need anything past 12. So I'm going to go, I'm going to start at 2. That's my lowest number. And then I'm gonna skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and over here I'll add one more, 12. And I'm doing this because I want to use as much space as possible. I want it to be clear. I want there to be lots of space for all my dots. Okay, so I'm going to start putting my dot values down. I'm going to put one at 6.5, one at 8, one at 7.1. Okay, so 6.5, I'm going to put a dot here. Is it 8 and 7.1? 8, 7.1. So what you notice is the reason I spread it out is because I have all this space and I want to be able to use it, because if I didn't, they'd be really squished. Again, an appropriate scale is very important. 7.1, 9.1, and 8. Okay, I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me plot all mine. Yours will be different than mine. You're going to put all your dots down on your paper. I'm going to go and pause the video, fill mine out, and then we can compare data points. Okay, so we're going to start putting all your dots down. You should have 30 dots. I'm also going to put my mean and mad, but I'll start the video up in a little bit. Okay, so here's my line plot. This is what it looks like. And I'm going to place, it doesn't ask for it, but I'm going to place it anyway. It gives me a very good idea of what's going on. I'm going to place my mean on here, which is 8.2. So that's right here. Okay, 8.2. We've been using triangles with a vertical line, so I'm going to keep that going. This is my mean. Gives me an idea of how my distribution looks. Okay, now I can't do this because I'm working by myself, but you are going to look at other students around the room, maybe just your neighbors. Keep it easy. And you are going to copy down theirs in your dot plot here. Okay, you're going to copy theirs down. You'll copy another person's down. You should have a total of 3 dot plots. We are taking our time on this one, so as you're copying your dot plots down, we're going to start making comparisons about these groups. Okay, you should be able to, after looking at yours, your graph here, and the other two students, classmates, friends, dot plots, you can record them. You should be able to make a comparison. What can you conclude? So this part here is actually what this unit's all about. After you collect data, what do you notice? You can tell me something about the distribution. You can tell me that they have very similar sleep patterns, that students mostly sleep between the hours, between 8 and 9 hours, where the majority of my students are. You could plot your MADs. We can do that right now. My MAD is 1.8 and 8.2. So 8.2 plus 1 is 9.2 plus 0.8 takes me to 10. This is 1 MAD, or MAD 1. And then let me see what I have. 8.2 minus 1.8. 8.2 minus 1.8. 12, 7, 6.4. So all the way down to 6.4. Okay, that's MAD 1. Right? And if I keep going, 1.2, that takes me to 5. Oh, sorry, not 1.2. 1.8. And that takes me to 4.6. So all the way to 4.6. Let me get that out of the way. Okay, finding my MADs. I can do this in a different color. 4.6. Not that. 4.6. Take me to MAD 2. And over here, 10 plus 1.8 takes me to 11.8. And so when I look at my distribution, I could say that a vast majority, a huge amount of data, most of my students slept within 1 MAD of my information. I only have 1, 2, 3. I have 90% of my data inside 1 MAD. Okay, so you can compare to your classmates and said that most of our students slept within 1 MAD of each other, 90% of our data. You can say that most of them slept between 8 and 9 hours, or no less than 7 and no more than 10. Okay, but you have to have your data in it to be able to actually compare these ideas. Okay, what can you conclude? Okay, so this part here is on your own, very important. Okay, now over here it says describe the shape of the distribution. Okay, if you think about this as a generality, okay, it's kind of centered in the middle. There are a few points outside of 1 MAD, and lots of points near the center. Those are all ways to describe this. So I'm going to write down things that I just mentioned. Okay, so I'm going to say most data around the center or the mean. Okay, very few data points outside 1 MAD. Okay, that's just a simple description. There is no, it's not heavy on one side compared to the other. Okay, there's a fairly good equal or even distribution there. Okay, I already found my MAD, and it ranges. My range, when I'm talking about range, okay, range here, talking about the biggest number, 11.2, all the way down to my smallest number. That's my range. Okay, so my range is going to be 11.2 minus 5.5. Okay, 11.2 minus 5.5 is 5.7. So my range is 5.7. Okay, good. So you can compare all those with your classmates. Okay, you should have a total of 3 dot plots. It should be a quiet work time, and we're gonna move on. All right, pause the video here, make your comparisons, copy your classmates' sample down on theirs. Again, use an appropriate scale. Starting at 2 and going to 12 is perfect. Gives you lots of space to figure things out. Okay, all right. Once you've done that, we can move on to the next one. It asks us for the 5-number summary. Now, the interesting thing about this 5-number summary is, well, I don't know if I'd call it interesting. The difficult thing about this 5-number summary is just placing things in order. So I'm going to pause the video here. I'll put things in order from smallest to largest. It'll take me a little bit because I don't want to make mistakes. And I'm going to put them in a nice straight line. I'm probably going to put it either this way horizontally, but if I don't have enough space, I'm probably going to put it vertically here, my 30 numbers, whichever one seems to be easier. But I'll try to put them horizontally first. It's up to you. Again, I really recommend that you put them in one line instead of two. Okay, so again, my numbers in order so that way we can do our 5-number summary. Okay, so this took me a good solid 10 minutes or more, 10 to 15 minutes. That was pretty organized. I've done this a few times, so I can imagine it taking you a while. Okay, so what I did is I got all my numbers, I put them all in order, and here they are. 5.5 was my smallest number, my biggest number was 11.2. And then what I did, what I thought that was really important that everyone should do is I numbered them 1 through 30. A very, very common mistake is people don't have enough numbers. They missed a number, or maybe they repeated too many of a certain digit or whatever it might be. So make sure that you number them so that way you don't miss any. It also helps you to stay organized. So when I'm finding my 5-number summary, I know that my smallest number here will be my minimum. That will be my minimum, and this will be my maximum over here, or Q4, and this one will be Q0. Okay, I know that if I have 30 numbers, that when I split it in half, I should have 15 numbers on the top half and 15 numbers on the bottom half. Number 15 is not my middle number. It just tells me how many should be in each section. So that means I know that if I put a line here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 numbers here. And I can count the same on the bottom. I should also have 15 on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. So I have 15 on each side. That means the number in between my 15th and 16th number, this number right here, which I will call 82.5. That is my Q2, also known as my median. Okay, now I'm going to focus on this top half here. I have now 15 numbers from here down to here. I have 15 numbers. So if I have 15 numbers here, if I split it in half, it's 7.5. So I should have 7.5 over here, and I should have 7.5 over there. And they don't really fit in between anywhere. So I'm going to count 7.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I have a single digit that's in my middle. Okay, this number right here represents, oh, that looks, it's hard to tell which one is which. So this number right here, 8.5, sorry, my 8th number, or 7.5, that's my Q2. Okay. I'll do the same thing here. I'll count 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This number right here is my Q3, or my upper quartile. Upper quartile. And this here is my lower quartile. Good. All right, now I can plot all these points. I'm going to use the same distribution of my numbers to make an appropriate scale. I'll start down here at, I believe I started at 2. Let me double check. I started at 2. Yeah, I don't probably, yeah, we need to start at 2 because some of you might have a 2 there. So here's my scale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so I'm going to plot these values here. I'm going to describe my shape or my distribution, find the range in the IQR. So 5.5, that's right here. That's my Q1. I'll put my numbers up here just so I know what they are. 5.5, 7.5 is Q, sorry, this should be Q1. I really well, that's Q2. Q1. There we go. This one is going to be Q1. And see, this one made a couple of typos already. Q1, 5.5 is Q1 will be 7.5. Q2 is going to be 8.25. So 8.25 is Q2. And Q3 will be 9. Q3 is 9. And then Q4 is going to be 11.2. Okay, so box and whisker plot. Whisker, whisker, box. Good. All right, so got my box and whisker plot. I'm going to describe the distribution, etc., but I'm going to put on a different video. It's going to be a bunch of short sections.